Morning everyone. It is a sunny start to the day. It is Wednesday, probably 28. It's quite warm. We've got the GTR back in. It was having problems with the LED kit that runs underneath the car on the left hand side, and unfortunately he has managed to bury out the front nose of the car, and it's ripped right through the LED on the left side. So the controller, which is in the dash, powers down the wing to the nose, and then everything runs one side and then one side, left to right. But he's damaged the right side, but that's still working, but the left side is completely severed, so we're gonna have to do another kit on the GTR, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame. Still waiting on the Bentley being picked up. Just had a nice big kicker stock order. Dan is just putting some 6x9s in some boxes, and we've got a full complement for some stuff coming up this week. Lots of kicker stuff on shelf, which is always nice to see. Get it flying out the door. And a Subaru. It is a XV. We've done front and rear dash cameras for it. Customer has a want to protect the car, so we've got front one there, rear one over there. Was going to be one of these Chinese copy things, like a cheapie, but we sold her on a proper camera that's going to do justice. So that one's all done. We're going to go and pick her up. She's down the pub having a cup of tea. And then some stuff this afternoon. Thinking we're going to see maybe some more cars and maybe have a look at this. I need to stop procrastinating and get on with it. See you in a bit.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Right then everyone, here we go. As promised, we are cracking back onto the Lotus engine. So at the minute I have removed both the fuel rails and I'm just reseating all of the rubber O-rings. There's two, top and bottom, but they've got to be lubricated because although they're petrochemical safe, they do dry out. So I am now basically making sure that the rail is cleaned, both ends of it, internally and externally. The dust is off. And I'm lubricating the O-rings and getting them onto the car so that we can rebuild the rails and put them back on the engine. Dan is currently in the process of the wash bath behind me. You'll see through this video the phone is now stuck to my ear and how hard it is to try and keep focus on the engine with customers ringing every 2 minutes. So Dan, yes, is checking the specs on the Lotus engine manual, which is in the top of the toolbox, and then he's off with a tap and die set while I am talking with customers, cleaning out the ends of the camshafts because they are an interference engine, and basically the bolt on the end of the camshaft is the thing with some glue, some Loctite, that holds the torque setting and the cam position timing correct to the engine when it's running. And there's 4 cams, obviously 4 cams, 2 exhaust, 2 inlet. Again, checking the cleanliness of the end of the camshaft and cleaning it while I'm dealing with customers, and then hopefully back on with the engine. Now, because this is such quite an important job, there are times where you'll see me kind of going over what Dan's doing. I'm just explaining how I want the camshafts cleaned in the end. It's got to be quite surgical because as soon as you have a glue failure, obviously that pulley is then spinning and you lose a belt, which is what's happened before. Here's one of the guys from next door, new lad coming in to check out what we're doing, and we're just discussing obviously engine bits, and now I'm checking out the manual. I'll keep going back to this thing to refer to torque specs and sizes of bolts and things, and now I'm on the hunt for a specific bolt size, which is going to be locating the fuel rails into the engine. There are parts on a shelf to the left for the Lotus. I've amassed a lot over the years, and now I will probably get my verniers out and go through some stainless bolts that we've bought just to make sure that I get the right length. Everything is listed in the manual, tells you what you're doing with stuff. but it's just a case of finding the right ones. So yeah, there we go. Verniers are out. Me measuring the length of bolts and the size, just so we can get the right ones for the car. Try and use new hardware every time I do it.
Afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Hello there.
Hello there.
GoPro's having a bit of a meltdown, but we've got the Lotus stuff back out, so we're going to do a little bit on the Lotus engine, as we are, I would say we're behind now, aren't we, on
Dirty little bastard.
Well,
because we originally we said we're going to get this one finished up for Gravity, and that was last year.
no.
Yes, we did. So we're a little bit behind, I would say. So Alex has decided to get the stuff back out, putting one of the injectors back on the fuel rail, and we've got lots of other stuff to do. So things like camshafts have got to go in, not just yet. Obviously, I think we've got to do timings and bits and bobs, and so yeah, you'll see that momentarily on that GoPro if it decides that it wants to play ball. Is it still formatting? Yes. Good old GoPro, eh? Alex loves GoPro. His favourite brand.
How did you guess? They are a little bit frustrating, to say the least. But today we are basically re-oiling seating injectors, because obviously this is fuel, it's very important, and over time rubber does dry out. So we are just unseating, there you go, look, unseating the injectors. We're going to pop the injectors off, we're going to give them a little bit of love, a little bit of grease, so that they're happy in their home, so that they slip into the tubes nicely, that they seat properly, we don't get no funky sprayed petrol everywhere. So a little bit of special horsepower grease just to wet the little barnacle. Probably need a pick. Grab us a pick, we're going to continue.
We'll do that, we'll catch up with you in a bit. See you soon.
Right, back on with the engine cleaning, back on with the cams, back on with the fuels. So I started putting the fuel rails on. I wasn't actually happy how they were seated. There's like a funny little clip that holds like a retainer onto the top of the fuel rail, and I'd noticed that a couple of them had gone the wrong side. So we're just going to take the rail back off. Oh look, another customer, here we go again. Every 2 minutes, literally. Try and do something, pick up the phone. Try and do something, somebody walks through the door. Yeah, so back on with the fuel rails. So I'm just adjusting the second clips. Dan is still cleaning camshaft ends, making sure they are old sealant free or thread lock free. And I'm basically just removing the second rail. I'm going to go back to retaining the clip into the right hole where I want it to be. It's got to sit specifically way, and make sure that the bolt also that goes across the engine that sits towards the cam cover that doesn't interfere. Everything, the tolerance on this engine is quite close, so you've got to get it right. So we're not messing around with it. And another phone call. Look, phone stuck back to my ear. From this point you'll get to see me blowing out the engine, just making sure we've got all the dust and debris away from it. And as you can see, Dan is just kind of finishing off one of the last camshafts. We wrap everything in the blue roll rather than the tissues, because tissues can kind of disintegrate and then you end up with more debris inside the engine. So we use the blue roll that doesn't leave fibres away. Once you've cut it and shaken it, it's safe for the engine to have something wrapped up in. And yeah, I'm on the phone again talking with customers on the computer. Fantastic. Right then everyone, back to voiceover Alex. We've moved on from the camshafts. They're now cleaned in the ends, happy with them. And we are cleaning the cam covers. They've got like an oiling baffle in the top, so you've got to be very careful you don't get debris washed inside the top of the cylinder cover, because through time oil will mist and then it runs down into the engine and you get contamination issues. So both of them have had a bath and a washout, and what we're doing now is just basically sealing them onto the engine at the top. The longer the engine is left open, the more risk of contamination you get.
So we're just saying goodbye to Ali. We'll have his GTR back in again. It's got some more bits to do on it because we've diagnosed the front kit all ripped apart. So we've been on this thing today again. Got the covers on just to screw into the top vent, just to obviously protect more and more the open engine, and covered up what we don't need to, so it's a bit safer. But fueling in, oil, grease, lube, they're in, and it's now putting lume on it, get the cams in it, hydraulic lifters, get everything tightened up with the belts, the ancillaries, the exhausts, manifolds, that's probably next, gaskets, turbos, oil in lines, belts, time it, and then see what we missed, wait for the bang. Just our luck at the minute. But a busy day nonetheless. We have got crazy week, lots of stuff coming in, guys, so stay tuned. It's going to be a busy one, and I've got a long video to edit, lots of time lapse. Z3 in tomorrow for a full system, Pioneer, speakers, amplifier, all of the good stuff. Should sound pretty sweet. But I will see you bright and early in the morning. Toodle pet.